Hello everyone, welcome to the fourth video of CMA US Part 1 Section A series, where we have already started about the statement of statement of income, that is income statement, then the balance sheet, statement of financial position, which we also call as, and also the basics of financial statements. Now in the fourth video we are studying about the statement of other comprehensive income or the statement of comprehensive income. So this particular statement of other comprehensive income is prepared as per ASC 220. What is ASC? I have already discussed in my previous videos. Please have a look at that and you will understand what is ASC. Though we don't need to memorize this, but it is just given over here for our reference purposes. Now, what happens, as we all know, in a business, whenever someone puts in money, that is termed as the owner's money. Or if we take a terms of company, in the company, when the owners, when the equity holders or when the shareholders put in money, that is termed as the what? That is termed as the owner's capital or the equity capital. Now, what happens at the end of the year, when a company makes a certain amount of profit, say $100 of profit a company has made, so that $100 of profit, who is entitled to receive that? The owners are entitled to receive that, right? But sometimes we have noticed that the owner's capital, which is there, it has not increased by just $100, it has increased by even more than that amount. So how it has actually happened? So what happens that sometimes many gains and losses which happens or which occurs in a business, they are not reported in the income statement. They are directly reported in the equity, that is in the equity capital, that is in the owner's money. So that is why we need statement of comprehensive income. So in the statement of comprehensive income, all those income and losses are recorded which are not reported on the income statement. Now, US GAAP is based on comprehensive income, not just net income. What does that mean? That means comprehensive income is equals to, I'll explain that later. So first of all, in comprehensive income, what all is included? Comprehensive income means net income plus OCI. Comprehensive income is equals to net income plus OCI. What is it? I will explain it to you. So what happens? Sometimes there is a change in the owner's capital, the owner's money. Now, owner's money is usually impacted by two ways. One is the owner's contribution, that means the money which owner is putting in the business, or the owner distributions, that is the money which is given out of the business and distributed to the owners. Apart from that, if there is any transaction or any money coming in the business which is impacting the owner's money, that is reported where? That is reported under the comprehensive income. So it helps the users understand the total performance, not just the operational performance, and see hidden gains and losses. So that is what it helps us to understand. Now, comprehensive income is equals to change in equity from non-owner transactions. That means apart from these two transactions, whatever transactions that are not reported on the income statement, the gains and losses which are not reported over there and they're impacting the equity, that is what is recorded under the comprehensive income. Now, comprehensive income includes what? It includes net income and it includes OCI. What is net income? Net income is the income which we receive on our income statement. That is when we reduce all the expenses from all the revenues. So the amount which we are left with, that is termed as the net income. Now, what is OCI? So gains and losses that bypass the net income and directly go to the equity. That is termed as the OCI. That means those line items which are not reported on the other comprehensive, that is not reported on the income statement, so they are reported where? They are reported on the equity. That is what happens in the OCI. So what is the formula of the net and comprehensive income? Comprehensive income is equals to net income plus OCI. And what is OCI? Change in AOCI during the period. What is AOCI? AOCI is accumulated other comprehensive income. As the term says, accumulated, that means the income, the other comprehensive income which has been collected from the previous many years. So that is what is getting collected somewhere. So that is termed as the AOCI, accumulated other comprehensive income. So what happens now? Suppose last year my AOCI, accumulated other comprehensive income, is $100. This year my AOCI, accumulated other comprehensive income, is $150. So the increase in OCI is 50 increase in accumulated other comprehensive income will be termed as what? Will be termed as a OCI for this particular year. That is the other comprehensive income for this year. Now, comprehensive income, what does it include? It includes all changes in equity except owner investments and dividends. That means what all it includes? It includes changes in equity, that except owner investments and dividends. Apart from the owner related transactions, whatever changes have occurred that have impacted the equities, so that is recorded under the comprehensive income. Now, net income is a part of comprehensive income. Similarly, OCI is a part of comprehensive income. This sign denotes that. Why? Because comprehensive income is equals to what? Net income plus OCI. What is AOCI? Accumulated OCI is what? It is a balance sheet account which comes under the equity section, and it is a permanent account which is never closed and it keeps accumulating. That means what happens? It keeps on collecting. Now, OCI, other comprehensive income, change in AOCI during the period, and it is a flow concept. The change in accumulated other comprehensive income throughout the period, that is reported under this, and it is a flow concept. That means it is reported for a particular period, like we have income statement for a particular fiscal year. Similarly, other comprehensive income is for a particular duration, which is usually 1 fiscal year. And again, the formula for comprehensive income, which is net income plus OCI, is given over here. Now, this is very important, the important accounting treatment. One concept I will explain. If you understand this, the rest of the CMA US journey will be very easy for you, and not just CMA. Even if you pursue CPA, CFA, ACC, any other degree, it becomes really easy for you. Now, what happens? Now, in a balance sheet, there are two columns. One is the asset side, one is the liability and equity side. If anything around the asset side, if anything in the asset side has to increase, then we debit it. And if anything in the asset side has to decrease, we credit it. Coming to the liability and equity section, it's just the opposite. Now, again, on the liability and the equity side, if anything increases, we credit it. If anything we need to decrease, we debit it. Same concept is given over here. That means the accumulated OCI, which is reported under the equity section of the balance sheet, if we have to increase any income, so what we do? We credit it. If we have to decrease it, we debit it. D for decrease, D for debit. Just like that, you can remember. Now, statement presentation, very important. So there are two methods under which we can present our statement of comprehensive income. First is the single continuous statement. That is, on one single piece of paper, first will be my income statement where net income is calculated, and under that only we will present our OCI, the other comprehensive income. Both sections appear in one document. Now, option 2, two separate statements. What happened? One will be my income statement, which will end at net income. Second will be my statement of comprehensive income, and on this the first line item will be my net income. Then we will add the OCI and we will get the comprehensive income. So always remember, in option 1 we will have single continuous statement, in option 2 we have two separate statements. The second statement must start with the net income. That means when we are preparing the separate statement of comprehensive income, the first line item for that will always be what? Will always be the net income. So this is how the presentation is given over here. Single continuous statement. As you can see, one statement is given over here, under which two headings are there. One is net income, one is OCI, and that's how total comprehensive income is calculated. Whereas in option 2, two separate statements are there. Statement 1, income statement. Statement 2, statement of comprehensive income. Now, both options report the same information. Option 2 presents it in two statements, and the second statement must always start with the net income. Okay. Now again, this is a very important page. Now we will see what all items are there in OCI, because up till now I am just talking about OCI, other comprehensive income, but what actually constitutes the other comprehensive income? What all line items goes under the other comprehensive income? So first of all, students must remember all these 11 components, that what will be reported as the other comprehensive income. So first of all, any foreign currency related item, whether it's translation, whether it's hedging, whether it's long term intra equity, that will be reported under where? That will be reported under the foreign currency items. Now coming to the hedging items, under the hedging items we have the cash flow hedges and we have the derivative hedges, that will be reported under the OCI items. Third will be investment securities. Investment securities, unrealized gains and losses on AFS or available for sale debt securities, or transfer from held to maturity to available for sale securities. Any kind of these unrealized gains or losses, or classification from held to maturity to available for sale securities, whenever we are doing, and any changes in the value we see, we record it where? In the OCI. Then pension items, any pension related gains, losses, service cost, then transition adjustments, these will be reported where? These will be reported under the OCI. Then lastly, credit risk changes, which is related to the fair value option liabilities. These are the 11 items which are classified as other comprehensive income, and they will never ever will be reported in the income statement. They will always be classified as a comprehensive income, other comprehensive income, OCI. So all OCI items are reported net of tax. That means when we are reporting it on our statement of comprehensive income, we are always reporting it net of tax. We reduce the taxes from them and then only we do what? We report them. Now, first of all, is it important for us to remember? Yes, it's clearly mentioned students must remember these. We should remember these. How to remember it? Very simple. A very easy memory trick has been given over here. Companies fight using duct and PPC tools. That's what is given over here, and we should memorize this, that companies fight using duct and PPC. So this covers all OCI items, and with this we can easily remember it. Now, how to remember this? How to mug it up? First of all, don't pressurize yourself. Don't put a burden on yourself that how will you remember this. So I'll just give you a very easy trick to remember. So whenever I have to like memorize anything for my exam, I never ever do this thing that okay, I will sit on a Sunday, take a page for 5 hours or 4 hours and sit and continuously just read and mug it up. No, doesn't work like that. You should make a routine, like maybe in the morning or in the evening, figure out a 10 to 15 minutes where you just open such things which you have to remember for the exam. Just open them and go through them. Do not pressurize yourself to mug it up. Just read through it. Or you can do one thing, take a snap of this, or maybe write it down on a piece of paper and paste it on the wall where you can see it every now and then when you pass by your room or anywhere in your house. So what happens, without much effort, you will be very easily to remember all these particular mnemonics and any things which is very important for your exam. Now, tax treatment and balance sheet rules. So what is given over here? Two options for presenting the OCI items. Option A, net of tax. Option B. So what happens? First of all the OCI items has to be represented after the tax. So option A, net of tax. That means each OCI item is shown after tax. That means what happens? You can do one thing. Every item which is present on your other comprehensive income, from that you have already deducted the tax and then you are presenting it over there. Or option B, what happens? You present the gross figure, then at the end of the statement of comprehensive income, or maybe at the end of the all the line items of the comprehensive income, you just mention one line highlighting that this is the total tax amount for these other comprehensive income items, so that you can reduce and show it off. Now, Coming to the balance sheet treatment, so AOCI is shown separately in the equity section. It is not merged with the share capital, APIC and retained earnings. That means accumulated OCI is shown as a separate line item in the equity section. It is not combined with the share capital or maybe the additional paid in capital or the retained earnings. It has a separate line item. It is a separate line item over there. Now, one important rule, what is the important rule? That OCI items are not in the income statement, they go directly to the equity. We already know this. Then OCI cannot be shown only in the equity statement, it must be shown in the statement of comprehensive income. We already know this. Why? Because again then this value will be shown where the amount which we get the comprehensive income, it will be reported under the AOCI. Now, one special case, if a company has zero OCI items, there is no need to prepare an OCI statement. There could be a scenario where none of these 11 items are present in that organization. None of these things have arisen. So what we need to do in that case, we need to do what? We need to ensure that okay, we are not preparing the OCI, the other comprehensive income statement. But that doesn't mean that we don't know, should not know the classification, because sometimes in exam it can happen that okay, there are no line items which are related to OCI, but still we should understand the classification very clearly. Now, net income is closed into the retained earnings, other comprehensive income is closed into the accumulated other comprehensive income, and both are closed under the equity section. So net income shows performance, comprehensive income shows total change in equity excluding the owners. So over here, what does comprehensive income comprises of? It comprises of net income, it comprises of OCI, the other comprehensive income. So profit or loss from ordinary operations, and other non-owner transactions and gains and losses not reported in the income statement but reported directly in the equity, that are OCI. So net income, it flows to the retained earnings under the equity section. OCI, it flows to the AOCI, accumulated other comprehensive income, under the equity section. So the total changes in equity excluding the owner transactions will be given. Now, how this topic is tested in examination? OCI versus the net income. OCI versus the net income, you have to clearly understand which line items will be reported under the OCI and which line items will be reported under the net income. Then comprehensive income, what all are there under the comprehensive income? That is net income plus OCI, that is the comprehensive income. Then AOCI movement, that how does AOCI increases? With the help of the OCI, other comprehensive income. Then how do we present it, whether as a one statement or two statement? Again, I have already explained above. And theory definitions, that means you don't need to write anywhere, but again you should clearly understand what is comprehensive income, what is OCI, what is AOCI precisely. You should clearly understand these terminologies, because in the examination when you get the theory questions, what happens, often students end up getting confused between one or two, like two or three options. So if you know the concept clearly, if you have understood everything very clearly, you will be easily able to understand it. Now, how is examiner gonna confuse you? By confusing OCI with net income. Then examiner might include OCI items with the income statement and ignoring that OCI directly goes to the equity, that he can do. Then net of tax treatment, as we know that all the OCI items are reported net of tax. Then forgetting AOCI is a permanent account. It's always present on the balance sheet, because all balance sheet accounts are permanent account. We have already studied this in our previous lectures, that all balance sheet accounts are permanent accounts. Then confusing OCI as a flow and AOCI as a stock. Matlab, what we are doing, that we are getting confused that OCI is a flow account. That means OCI shows that it is the income earned during a duration, and accumulated OCI, what is a stock account, is a equity account, that we shouldn't get confused with. And what are the students' mistakes? Thinking all gains and losses go to the income statement. No, some are reported as the OCI. Then OCI bypasses net income. Always we should remember that. And not understanding accumulation in the AOCI. That also we need to understand. Mixing owner transactions with OCI. Owner transactions are what? When owner contributes the money, and one when the money is distributed to the owner. These two are the owner transactions. And ignoring the presentation rules. So these are the mistakes which we should avoid. Now, these are some keywords with which we should be very clear and we are very easily able to understand and retain, so that exam becomes really easy for us. And lastly, student confusions, if it affects equity, why it is not in net income. So why students ask this, that if it is affecting the equity, why it is not in net income? Because in income statement we report those transactions which are directly related to the day-to-day operations of a business. So that's why some of them, they affect the equity, the owner's money directly, rather than just being part of a income statement. Then one exam thinking tip, ask, is it a part of normal performance? If no, it is likely a OCI. If it is not a part of a day-to-day performance, then what? It is likely to be a other comprehensive income. Then we can get this particular question, like we can get the questions from this concept both in MCQs as well as in the scenario based questions. So one thing we need to remember, what we can get, classify items as OCI or net income. Then numerical questions we can get on computation of comprehensive income, the theory questions defining the key terms, then presentation format questions, then conceptual or tricky questions, like the tricky questions, how we can understand these examiner twist. So from these list only the examiner can make the tricky questions. So that's all about statement of other comprehensive income. I hope you guys would have understood it clearly. If you have any questions, if you have any doubts, please feel free to drop your comments in the comment section or reach out to me. I'll be more than happy to help you guys. Thank you so much.